And welcome back to the Hulk Show. Got a great one lined up for you. I do, truly. We are going to explore one of the biggest crypto exchange scandals that it's ever happened. We're going to explore who started this crypto exchange, the same guy that started Stellar and who was right there from the beginning at Ripple. I did some deep dive last night. I sleep on the floor next to the desk, of course. I'm chained to my desk. I literally have a chain going from my leg to my desk, so it's only about 3 feet long, so I can lay down on the floor and sleep, but I'm always on duty. So while I was chained, I said, let me do a little research on this. Now, the channel's going to start glitching, so I'm going to try to speak in code as much as I can today. There's a guy named Jed, and I won't say his last name, McCaleb. And this is the same guy that started basically Ripple. I think he was asked to join by a certain government agency that enlisted him. And they were hired by the top 5 families of the world to come up with a form of cryptocurrency that the people could use. I believe Jed was fooled. Jed was tricked into making a currency that he thought was for the people. If you look at everything about Jed, he was always like, he was never the type to want to control the world. From the very little study that I did of him, these are my opinions now. I could be completely off base. But he was always like connected to the people, like a movement, like a libertarian freedom movement type thing. And I think somebody took advantage of that and used his information to create a crypto that he thought was going to be like a Stellar, but it ended up being XRP, and that's wholesale banks, governments. And that was nothing that Jed wanted. And I think that the powers that be took advantage of him. And then he went off to start Stellar. Because if you look at Stellar, it's just, I'll leave it at that. Because Stellar is all about poor countries and getting people to have access and level playing field. That's not Ripple. Ripple's all about the rich. So anyway, I'll leave that at that. My name's Crypto Hulk. I'm a deep diver. That's what I do. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a crypto advisor at all. I like looking up information to see how things work. That's what I do. I like to discover who's involved in what and figure out why did they do this or that. These are things that I show on my program. I'm nowhere near I do spear fishing. I kind of do spear fishing with information. I try to find information, go at it. Don't believe anything on this program. Don't buy anything I tell you to buy. Don't sell anything I tell you to sell. And Jed McCaleb is only worth about $3 billion. Not a big deal. Now we're going to get into this. You can watch my short video to see what I'm looking at right here. We're going to start off with this Wikipedia. Let's do a little Wikipedia on Jed McCaleb. This is very interesting. If you got Stellar, I want you to see the connections here. You know what, everybody? There's something going on with all this crypto. It's not what it seems. It's very, very deep and twisted. We're going to explore. We're going to do a little exploring. Right here, Jed, and I won't say his last name, McCaleb, is an American programmer, entrepreneur, and philanthropist. He is the founder and chairman of something called VAST, and co-founder and the founder of Stellar. Caleb served as the CTO of Ripple, so David Schwartz replaced him because Jed was the CTO of the company Ripple until 2013. Like, he got it when it was nothing and made it Ripple, and then he left. During this time, he created what they call Mount, and I won't say Gox, and that was a Bitcoin exchange, which ended up being a scandal. Oh my God. It's still going on today. Stu Lavelle. Viva Las Vegas. Test the button, folks. P.S. Happy birthday, that MG veteran said. Yes. Thank you for that tax-free donation to the channel. Oh, first 5. I can't see. Started too late. Okay, let's go back to Jed McCaleb because we got to figure out the origins of Stellar here. So what we got, he was born in Arkansas. That's interesting. Brad Garlinghouse says he grew up in Kansas. He went to the University of California, Berkeley, and he dropped out and then moved to New York City. Now, in 2000, he founded what's called Meta Machine. I did videos. You can go into my post section. You'll find some very interesting stuff about Meta Machine. Go back about 3 months. You can scroll down just a little bit on my YouTube page. Go into the section that's called posts. Now, what we got going on here, second paragraph. Now, in 2007, this is like before Bitcoin was even around, 2 years before, he bought something called Mount, and I won't say Gox, okay? Now, it started off as a magic card kind of game thing. Now, I'm going to start throwing in some conspiracy. So in 2007, so that's 6 years before he quit Ripple. I don't know when he started Ripple, about 2010-ish. That's when Ryan Fugger kind of sold all of his interest and kind of gave up because it was getting too much for Ryan Fugger to do all this. They needed some help, like 3-letter agencies in the government. But 2007, he started the domain of Mount, and I won't say Gox. And it was kind of like, well, I have to read it off to you here. Mount, and I won't say Gox. I'm looking at 2007 right now, the webpage. It says Mount Gox is in beta. So if you have any questions, let us know. It's at feedback@mountgox, and I won't say .com. Here's what it's called. Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering Online. MTGO are all trademarks of Wizards of the Coast. Mount, and I won't say Gox.com, is no way affiliated with Wizards of the Coast. Now, let's try to understand something here. What we're looking at here is the beginning of one of the biggest crypto scandals the planet has ever known. You've got, I'm telling you, this whole crypto thing is like wild. It makes no sense because it's so deep and there's government involved. I know there is. You've got a website called Mount, and I won't say Gox. And then you got some magic stuff going on, but then some disclaimers that Mount, and then I won't say Gox, is not affiliated with the Wizards. Well, then why the fuck is it on the same page? See what I mean? Like, to me, that makes no sense. You've got one of the biggest scandal websites that have ever occurred. Mount, I'll just say it, fuck it. The channel's going to start glitching. Mount Gox. Wait, hold on. Joshua gave somebody a membership. No. Welcome to the entry-level membership. Okay, right on. I've got a brand new member. So, you've got a Mount Gox page advertising, not even advertising, showing Magic the Gathering kind of, and then they're trying to tell you that it's not affiliated. They're not affiliated with you. Well, why the fuck is it on the same page? Now, what's interesting is you go to mountgox.com, which I'm looking at now. Welcome to the far wilds. You are a warlord in the outskirts of the known world, struggling to establish a kingdom in the wild lands. You must use strategy and wits to establish yourself and not be pushed back further into the wilderness. The Far Wilds is a unique turn-based strategy game. Configure an army and fight on a random battlefield. Play now for free. 3D versions are available. Now, this is July 2009, so 2 years later. We are releasing a new expansion in September called Borderlands. The Celestial Imperium moves. Okay, now I'm going to tell you something. Somebody has told me over the years that good old Jed and his family are mixed up in some kind of voodoo weird stuff. And now I'm kind of probably going to believe that. But I want to show you some very interesting things here. One, what I think all this Borderlands game and this strategy stuff, and the names of these characters, Themist, Johansson, Sunyaku, Kelrin, Grug, Nyan, Voice, okay, Kremnik, Galorix, Baumgartner, Altren. I'll tell you what I believe this really is. Now, this is my conspiracy, is that what we're looking at here is this game that he was involved in, I believe, was a government way to capture talent. Oh, damn, Crypto Hulk. Because I'll tell you why. When I studied Jed McCaleb, I noticed that there was like wiki, some kind of like website things where you work on project, like a bulletin board, right? And people would post stuff on a bulletin board and they'd work on group projects and stuff. But I noticed over time that some of these people would disappear. And the stuff they were working on would end up in like the government, right? Or in a government patent. Like the government would take something that these nerds, quote nerds, would make. The government would monitor the billboards and grab people as needed for projects and say, look, you're now going to work for the United States government. That's what I believed I was reading on these bulletin boards. People disappeared. Like, hey, where's Jimmy? I haven't seen him for a few weeks. We've been working on a project. Then all of a sudden, like the bulletin board, like maybe 6 months later, hey, how did our project get patented by the United States government? So our government would steal stuff off of these little bulletin boards and hire people. That's from what I found. Now I'm looking here at this game type thing. This ain't no game. Okay. What this is, in my opinion, is a way for the government. So the government would do this. They're famous for this. They'll have these, quote, games and maybe have them in beta or whatever it's called and stuff. And what it is, it's a way to recruit people, to test, to try to get a certain kind of intelligence. Not that somebody's smart, but they're smart in a certain area. So they'll have these games where if you have a certain intellect, you'll pass and get really high level. Then you'll have somebody knocking at your door from a 3-letter agency saying, hey, we have a mission for you to save the country. Something. And welcome back to Crypto Hulk again. YT decided to shut the program down. We're right at about the 15-minute mark, so that fits. Wayne Williams, thank you very much for the tax-free donation. Just because, thank you, Crypto Hulk. So this is what is very interesting, is how the government would use these games to get tech people to work for them. This is what I believe this is. Now, what's also interesting is in this section here, let me read it to you because there's an X reference, okay? And this is in 2009. Here's the X reference. The Celestial Imperium moves out toward the northern wastes to respond to the rising tide of the hordes of chaos. Disciplined and powerful Piscions wield their minds against twisted mutants. Priests and paladins of Exosa, that's a capital X, and then OSA, battle with demons and armies of orcs across the wilderness of the borderlands. So there is some kind of a connection to the word with a capital X there. It's just all a conspiracy show, everybody. No need to get testy. So let me click out of this one here. So let's go. And just by the way, there's a company called Exapo, XAPO, and they partner with Circle, which runs on Stellar. Here's your evidence for that. This is not directly related to my conspiracy, but this letter X thing, just thought I'd let you know. Let me read the title of it. It says Exapo, XAPO Bank. Exapo Bank partners with Circle to integrate USDC payment rails. There you go. So now we're going back to the conspiracy story here. Let me click out of that one. Okay, now we get into Mount Gox Bitcoin Exchange. Now I'm looking at 2011, February 3rd, 2011, where Jed McCaleb is still the owner of it. He sells it in like mid 2011. So he's still technically the owner. What are they talking about here? Bitcoins, buying and selling Bitcoin. Now, what's interesting is under the section where it says advanced trading, they have automate your trading with our trading API. Next, they have a section here that says dark pools, D-A-R-K, and then pools, P-O-O-L-S, allow you to trade large quantities without moving the market. Now, if you remember the other day, Caleb Brown was telling us that what they do is they trade slice your trade. So if you have a big amount, they'll sell off smaller bits of it to avoid moving the market or something like that. So I thought this was interesting. I don't know if this is illegal. You know, I think just because of the name, dark pools. So let's look at here. I clicked on dark pools. It says the Mount Gox dark pool allows you to sell large quantities of Bitcoin without moving the market. You can mark any buy or sell order with a value of over $1,000 as being in the dark pool. Orders in the dark pool don't show up on the order book. Oh, so this is illegal, isn't it? Yeah, this is where Jed McCaleb was mixed up in. He's the guy that started Stellar. Now you have dark pool and normal, and then you have dark pool only. Dark pool and normal says can be filled either partially from the normal orders of the dark pool, and then dark pool only can be filled only by other dark pool orders or a single normal order that is larger than a dark pool order. This means that if there's a single normal order that would fill in the dark pool order, both will be filled. I don't understand all this shit, but what I do know is that here, now this is my opinion, and I have to watch what I'm saying. I believe that's illegal. You can say that because they're talking about dark pool shit is not in the order books. So this is one way, I believe, why Mount Gox became one of the biggest crypto ripoff scandals of our country. And it's still going on today. They're trying to, people got ripped off because, and this is just my opinion only, Jed McHale is possibly a crook because he was running a crypto exchange that had dark pools. We already saw the evidence from at least February of 2011, if not earlier, this dark pool stuff started. Jed didn't sell off until after that. So from what I'm looking at, and it's my opinion, that Jed McHale was doing illegal shit with Mount Gox because he had certain dark pools of trading, and the name alone just should tell you something, and it wasn't on the order books. So this is something that's sounds to me possibly illegal. Okay. And eventually, here's what I believe. You got these dark pools, which already sounds illegal. And not too long after this, Jed sold Mount Gox, but he remained a minority shareholder. Oh, no, he remained a minority owner of the company. You could look at the Wikipedia that I just showed you with Jed McHale, and you can see in there, he sold off the exchange, but he still remained a portion owner of that exchange, okay? So he wasn't free and clear, all right? For some reason, the government never came after him. This was one of the biggest scandals the crypto world had ever seen. This guy had something called dark pools, and it was during the time Jed was there, not after he sold. It was at that time Jed started this stuff and had dark pools of secret illegal trading, possibly. That led, they did enough of these secret illegal tradings, and all of a sudden one day the crypto exchange just collapsed. Imagine that. Amazing. And I don't know if anybody's ever talked about this. I don't think anybody's ever shown the evidence except yours truly. And that's how I roll. But when you have a bunch of allegedly illegal dark pooled money going in and out of in a crypto exchange, on the website it talked about dark pools. I read it off to you right there. The website is gone. It's no longer, they took it down, but I still have access to the website. And it's just interesting. And then all of a sudden, he sells this exchange, but he does remain a partial owner. And then all of a sudden, after he sells it, the exchange just collapses. People lose all kinds of money, and it's all done. Dark pool. Jed McHale is mixed up. Maybe Jed can explain all this to somebody. But Jed is not this innocent little character. So there's your dark pools allow you to trade large quantities without moving the market, because they're probably, and it's not showing up on the order books. To me, that sounds extremely illegal. And you had to have $1,000 or more to go into the dark pool. I'm like, wow, what did I just discover, huh? Now I'm looking at another page here, January 2012. It says, now listen to this, but actually it's really 2011. And it says this, as of July 11th, Mount Gox handles over 80% of all Bitcoin trade. Well, what do we have here? We have a monopoly where you have Jed McHale. We have Jed McHale controlling Mount Gox, I believe, We have July 2011. Maybe he sold it right before then, but whatever it is, Jed McCaleb's controlling Bitcoin 80% of the transactions. Showing you right here. Now, it's also interesting. Now, I go to a page that says May 2012. Now, Jed was gone by this time, but they talk about SSL encrypted communications. All communication with Mount Gox servers are encrypted with SSL technology. Additionally, signatures and keys are secured with SHA-512 and AES. Now, if we know anything about Bitcoin, from what I heard, it ran on a SHA-256. Well, that's a government, some kind of code, right? A coding format of some sort. SHA-256. And then here we got SHA-512, which seems like a higher level. I thought that that's very interesting, why they're using government code. $512 is double 256. It's the depth of encryption. The national, and I'm not going to say security agency, has same encryption as Bitcoin. And who all did David Schwartz work for? That three-letter agency, national, and I'm not going to say security, I'm not going to say agency. Oh, David Schwartz worked for them since like the 80s. So what do you bet that David Schwartz had something to do with the creation of Bitcoin? Jed Mc... Welcome back to Crypto Hulk again. The Truth Alert went off at YT headquarters, so they had to shut the show down because they don't want you guys to know this stuff. I happen to be the only person on the planet who's showing you that the crypto exchange Mount Gox, which was started by Jed McCaleb, had stuff called dark pools, and it was like illegal type trading. All of a sudden, they find out Mount Gox just collapses. That's because all the dark trading you never saw on the order books, dark trading they didn't put on the order books, so all this underground illegal trading, it all collapses. But right before it collapses, Jed McCaleb runs out the back door and sells the place. The new owner comes in. It didn't take long, and the whole exchange collapsed. Why? Dark pools and Jed McCaleb doing illegal shit, okay? That is my opinion. I don't have any facts to base that on. It's just my opinion. We're all allowed to have opinions in the world. Then Jed runs off and starts Stellar. I wonder if there's been any dark pool trading on Stellar. Oh, shit, Crypto Hulk. And then since he had dark pools and illegal unforeseen trading on Mount Gox, what if XRP has something that we don't know? Like they're trading where we can't see. Oh, Crypto Hulk, this show's getting really good. Holy shit. Hillbilly Decke. I work third shift, so it's 9:30 p.m. for me. I don't know if it's the info or the beer, but I sure do like beer. Alrighty then. Thank you very much. Hillbilly Decke. I got to get a cough drop here. My mouth's getting dry. Cotton mouth. So we're uncovering a whole lot of stuff on Crypto Hulk. It's very interesting. So Jed created like a backdoor kind of a thing with Mount Gox where there was dark pools of trading on a crypto exchange that nobody could see. So you had market manipulation. People were like probably pulling all their money out of the exchange. Nobody could see because Jed created something called dark pools. Then all of a sudden, when everybody got their money secretly and illegally, he sold the exchange, and then it all collapsed, and Jed's walking free. That's how it happened, everybody. Daniel, thank you very much for that donation. Hulk, great information. I Googled the SEC. The SEC allows dark pools. Makes sense for price manipulation. Okay, but here's the thing. The Mount Gox was in Japan, not the United States. Oh, yeah. Remember that now? So it's not in there. The SEC has nothing to do with this. This has to do with Mount Gox in Japan. Ben L says, Jed has backdoors into Bitcoin, XRP, XLM, and how many other tokens he can muck around in. So we got this thing called Mount Gox. It was a major scandal. People lost millions. The American Justice Department comes in. I don't know if dark pools, trading that's not on the order books. You know what? I don't have to be a SEC employee or a lawyer, but that doesn't sound legal to me, okay? Jed was all mixed up in this alleged illegal trading stuff, and then he leaves. Nobody knows about the dark pool, illegal trading or whatever. All this money has been sucked out of the exchange. It doesn't show up because it's dark trading. This next guy comes in and buys Mount Gox, and then within months, the whole thing collapses. Jed's walking free. The government never busts him. That was my Darth Vader mask that slipped. I think that's maybe a sign. I'm going to prop it back up. There we go. Sorry, Darth Vader. So that leads me to believe with Stellar, is there some kind of dark pool trading with Stellar? Now, Jed worked it on XRP, on the XRP ledger. So now it makes me believe if they had dark pools with Mount Gox, are there dark pools with XRP? Is that why the price is not going up? Damn it, Crypto Hulk. How do you find this shit, right? Because I want you guys to see information that I find. So we know that Jed created or had dark pools on Mount Gox. I'm going to say I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that there's dark pools with Stellar. There's dark pools with the XRP. If Jed was involved in dark pool, which from what the evidence I see, I believe it's true, with Mount Gox, pulling money out with people not knowing, what about the possibility of Ripple with Jed's backdoor able to either pump crypto into some kind of system to dump the value or to pull out XRP, but no one's seeing? Oh, because that's what they were doing at Mount Gox. People were pulling their money out and it wasn't showing up on the order books. So that crypto exchange, these dumb people on YouTube that read off prices of crypto every show, it doesn't show up on the order books because Jed's got dark pools in the XRP ledger and probably Stellar as well that he installed. I just showed you what he did at Mount Gox with the dark pools. They could pull out millions and billions and no one would see it. What if they're pulling out millions and billions in XRP and no one sees it? Oh. What if the dark pools manipulated prices, right? Follow me. And what if now they're able to manipulate the price of the XRP where you think it's $2.40, but instead in the end of everything imploding and collapsing, what if dark pools were used to blast the price up to the moon? Oh, now Crypto Hulk. Oh shit, I got half a wave of Woodrow Wilson in my pants. Now, when you start thinking this, it's like, damn, man. So we could either thank Jed or hate Jed. So maybe Jed used dark pools to pull out all this money from the crypto exchanges and collapse Mount Gox. Now, I'm going to play both sides of it. Now, he could probably have done the same thing with Ripple and XRP to collapse it temporarily. Maybe they're temporarily using dark pools to collapse the price of XRP, and then at some point later, instead of the whole crypto market collapsing, it blasts off. And that's what I think is going on right here. I think the government gave Jed authority to test and see how things go. Since it occurred in Japan, it's kind of limited on what the United States government can do to you. So maybe they gave him some immunity and said, hey, go to Japan, start this website, do this dark pool shit. Let's see what happens. Can you take money in and out without people seeing? Yeah, I can. Go ahead and do it. Let's see what happens. So he pulled out like millions and shit, maybe billions. No one saw it happen. And so they're like, our government's like, okay. Now, can you do this with like XRP and shit? And so that's why he never gets in trouble, right? Wow, Crypto Hulk, this is really, really some new higher level conspiracy shit. Michael Thiessen, thank you very much for the tax-free donation. See, this is a kind of conspiracy that's fun, that's pretty fact-based. I mean, I'm just telling you what he did and shifting it over. I'm shifting what Jed McCaleb did with Mount Gox, shifted it onto Stellar because he started Stellar, shifted this conspiracy into Ripple because he worked at Ripple. I mean, he worked on the XRP ledger. So it's not that far-fetched. This conspiracy could be like a real one that's true. But we need to see the private ledgers, which will never happen. See, this is what I'm telling you. Don't put in more money into crypto than you can afford to lose. Maybe in the end, all this goes bad. Maybe in the end, this dark pool shit is what's causing a price drop so that banks can come in and buy it, and then boom, it takes off. I don't know. I don't think this is the Mount Gox experiment. I think this is the real deal. Now, here's my opinion again. Nelson Arroyo, thank you very much for the tax-free donation. I don't think this is the experiment, everybody. I think this is the real deal. I think Jed was used to do shit, and they used him, and I think maybe the government's all done with him, and he's off on his own doing his thing. There's a lot of mystery in crypto. I don't have all the answers. Like, when I do this, since I've done this investigation for you, now I have more questions, right? So the more shit I discover, it brings more questions. I don't have the answers. I have the evidence I just showed you, and you'll have to make your own decisions up about what all this means. The Tone Lokes. Yup, that dope smoke info right here. Holy dope smoke info. This is information you will not find on any other channel. We have some fun times on this channel looking at what nobody else knows. We have fun times on this channel. I appreciate you getting a membership. Get a $10 membership because I'm exposing to you stuff that's not on any other channel. You'll not see this anywhere else. Okay. What does Robert Driscoll say? Thanks, Hulk, for stimulating, and then lading the brain cells. All is one says it's all manipulated. We're all manipulated all the time. Hippie 17 says, what if the dark pools are the ones giving liquidity to leverage trading platforms that do not require KYC? Yeah. So I'm just bringing you this information. I don't have all these answers. And I'm going to kind of move on to the next article. But this doesn't discourage me at all. I know that I'm able to find things and show you guys amazing information like this with this Jed McCaleb character and the secret dark pools and how he collapsed. I believe he collapsed an exchange and he never gets in trouble. And he has a little system of dark pool that's not in the order books, and he's able to do all these things and nobody sees because he's doing it off the order books. And people lose millions and millions of dollars. And the Justice Department comes in. Maybe they're in on it. I wouldn't doubt it. I have no idea. But I'm just taking a look at the comments here. Linda McKinney says, we appreciate your time and deep diving. Hulk, thanks. Thank you. I've learned something new. Bitcoin equals the same government code. Something's up. I don't know what. So let's go to the next article here. Santander. I got to get this article done. I've been going over it a day or two now. This next one's pretty interesting. We got Santander here. There's a bank in Spain called Santander. They're a Ripple partner, by the way, and they they want to expand in the United States. I want you to see what's going on. You've got Santander that uses Ripple technology, wants to come into the United States. Now, rather than start from scratch and file all kinds of paperwork and why not just partner up with Verizon? Oh, now that's an idea. That makes a lot of sense. You pay some money, now you're partners, now you got access to all their way they do business. This article is dated March 18th. Santander is pushing to expand its United States operations through a partnership with Verizon. By tapping into the telecom's major vast customer base, the Spanish bank and Verizon said the U.S. partnership deal will allow millions of Verizon customers to have access to competitive high-yield savings accounts with Santander's new digital bank platform, Open Bank. Now, some of you might want an investment tip. You can look up for yourself, is there a crypto for Open Bank? So they got a platform. It's called Open Bank. What's the name of the crypto? I'd invest in that one right away. That's just me personally, okay? So this is a possible new crypto that's brand new. And if you get in on this quick, you might be able to get in before it goes up, okay? Because what comes up probably comes down. So it's a platform called Open Bank. The Verizon partnership is a significant. See, look, this is first mover advantage. Nobody's doing this. You are given now an opportunity to find out if there's a crypto for this and to buy it. Nobody's doing this right now, okay? This is not on any other channel. The Verizon partnership is a significant milestone for Santander as we scale our U.S. business further. Santander, the Eurozone's biggest lender. Santander, the Eurozone's biggest lender. There you go. By market value, has one of the biggest auto lending businesses in the United States. It wants to use the United States to build its own technology platform, oh my God, for consumer banking, including digital-only banking. You know what that is? Cryptocurrency. Oh, everybody, it's coming, I'm telling you. The bank formally launched its U.S. digital bank in October, offering high-yield savings accounts. They're doing that with crypto, everybody. They aren't mentioning one word of cryptocurrency in this article. Congratulations. Now, we know that Santander is linked up with American Express and Ripple, because here's the article right here. Let's do a copy paste. This is on CNBC, article dated 2017, 8 years ago, everybody. What? American Express and Santander team up with Ripple for cross-border payments via blockchain. Ta-da! What did I tell you? And you're like, dang, Crypto Hulk. So here's like today's news, not from like 10 years ago and shit. This is today's news. Santander, a crypto bank, partnered with Ripple for 8 years. Tell me they're not using crypto. No, Santander, this is for the dummies. Santander didn't say they're using Crypto Hulk. No, Santander is a Ripple partner because they don't use any crypto at all. Does that make any sense? Santander is an 8-year Ripple partner, but they don't use crypto at all. Because it didn't say it in the article. Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, that makes no fucking sense. So now we know that for the past 8 years, Santander has been working with Ripple on cryptocurrency. Now, if you're somebody who likes stocks and you want an alternative investment, I would go with Santander for that reason. They're the first bank, what did I tell you? Early crypto partners are going to take off first, okay? Santander is going to take off first before all these other banks around the world, because they're doing something no other bank around the world is doing. They've got crypto technology with Ripple. Hey, other banks might have hooked up with dog shit crypto, this, that. You've got Santander, Ripple partner, 8 years now. And they're hooking up with Verizon. They already know what crypto is. They're using crypto. Next, look at this right here. They're going to start having crypto wallets and digital ID at Santander with Verizon. Here's your evidence for that. But Crypto Hulk, the article doesn't talk about digital ID or wallets. Would you shut up with that? But Crypto Hulk, I just don't see the connection. Well, that's why I have a show and you don't, right? You don't see any fucking connection until it's too late. This article here is dated 2014. 11 years ago, they're talking about, this is on Ripple. This is a Ripple page. What are they talking about, Crypto Hulk, 11 years ago? A new digital framework for digital identity. Oh, and that's with Ripple? Yeah. And Ripple has been working with Santander for 8 years? Yeah. And they linked up Verizon? Yeah. Oh, they're not going to use digital ID, Crypto Hulk. The article doesn't say it. That's why you can never get ahead, because you wait till after the news hits the news before you even know what happened. Now here's a page. It's called Ripple Singapore. I showed it in my video. It's 2015. Now we're talking 10 years ago. I can see a Ripple logo and it says Ripple Singapore. Then it says gold and silver in your wallet. If I look just to the right, there's a downloadable wallet right there. It says wallet. And if you click on it, you can download the Ripple wallet. Okay. Just a couple days ago, Ripple makes an announcement. They have a downloadable wallet and they're patenting it. Well, if you watch Crypto Hulk Show, 3 years ago, I told you that Ripple had downloadable wallets. I told you this 3 years ago, and I showed you the evidence, which was this page. No other channel's done this. No other channel keeps you 3 years in advance like Crypto Hulk Show. It was about fall 2022. And I was showing you Ripple Singapore, Ripple China, Ripple Russia, all these things 3 years ago. And I said, oh, look, there's Ripple Singapore with a downloadable wallet. Here we are today. Ripple patents a downloadable wallet. If you were to watch Crypto Hulk Show, you'd already know this is in the works. They just haven't told anybody. Here's the title of this article. Ripple files a trademark application for custody service wallet. The trademark application shows 4 use cases for the word mark, including downloadable software and for custody of crypto. Ta-da! See, Ripple has this planned out from 10 years ago, everybody. I keep trying to tell you that whole Ripple court case, that thing's fake. I don't even pay attention to that. I'm able to find my own news. I don't have to rely on these fake news articles that come out. Let's take a look. Glenn Jones says, Hulk, how do I get a hold of you for some paid side convo? Donate the money for a 1-month membership. And if we don't discuss a whole bunch, I'll give you like 2. Because I'm fair like that. Like sometimes somebody will pay the $500 and not talk for a whole bunch. I don't cut them off at the end of the month. I'll give them like another month or something or whatever, just to make sure they get their time and stuff. So donate a big chunk of money and then contact me on like Twitter. I'll look on my YouTube account, verify your name and stuff that it's you, and then we can discuss whatever crypto stuff you have questions about. Glenn Jones, welcome to the 2024 Crypto Explosion. Let me look here. You came in a good time, Glenn, old boy. How many minutes? We got 6 minutes. Okay, I'm going to bust out a quick article here on Nubank. We're going to move fast on this because I want to squeeze in another article. Normally, this would take me about 10 minutes or so. I want to try to get this done in about 2 to 3. So we're going to do fast-paced. Here's the article right here. It's called Fast Company. Fast Company names Nubank, which is the Warren Buffett invested bank, as the most innovative company in the world. Now, why is this interesting? Why am I reading this? Because Warren Buffett has been lying to everybody all these years, like, oh, cryptocurrency is just rat poison and da-da-da. But secretly, he invests in a crypto bank. But crypto is all rat poison. That's what he used to say for all these years. But now he's part owner of the world's most successful crypto bank. Interesting, huh? All the time he's saying crypto's bad, crypto's bad, crypto's bad, but that's because he's buying it up when it's cheap. He doesn't want you to buy it. He's trying to buy it when it's cheap. Sao Paulo, Brazil. That's where Ripple has a headquarters. Nubank, one of the largest digital financial service platforms in the world, was included for the 5th time in Fast Company's prestigious World's Most Innovative Companies. New, it's called New, NU, which is short for Nubank, is number 1 in the finance and personal finance category and 3rd place in overall ranking, gaining 19 positions from last year. It was down at number 20 last year. Bam, now it's up at like number 1. I'm trying to show you something here. I don't care about crypto prices. We know Jed McCaleb manipulates, or his technology allows these governments, whoever it is, I just demonstrated to you, to manipulate the price. That's why I don't care about the price. The only thing I care about the price is when it's cheap, I'm buying. Other than that, when it goes up, I'm priced out. Adios. When does it all take off? When it all takes off. That's my philosophy. I don't care anymore. So they're talking about Nubank and how massive it is. They're hooking kids up at 10 years old with bank accounts. They're getting high interest yields. They're teaching children, literally teaching children in South America how to get a bank account at age 10 and earn high rate interest. Very interesting. So that's that article there. Let me click out of this article. And let me show you this. Ripple, now how did they get all this technology in Brazil? Because didn't they invent crypto in America? Yeah. Here's how they did it. It's called Ripple. Okay, right there. What's the title of this article? Latin America's first Ripple gateway is now serving 7 local markets. What is the date of this article, Crypto Hulk? 2014. Damn, that's 11 years ago. Ripple was in Brazil 11 years ago, hooking up the whole country with XRP. Launched by e-payments provider AstroPay, and there's something called Ripple Latam. That's actually 2013. I'm the only one on the internet that has Ripple Latam evidence. This will serve Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, and more. All these areas back in 2013. You got Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Mexico, Peru, and Uruguay all getting hooked up with Ripple's XRP back in 2013 and 14. That's where we get the Nubank, because Ripple laid all the platform down. There's that article there. Now we have another article. I'll leave that one. Now, what's also interesting is I showed you already there's Exapo, and that's in South America, Exapo, and they partnered with Ripple, and Exapo is also Stellar, which runs on Circle, which Circle runs on Stellar. This is the Jed McCaleb connection right here. Exapo Bank partners with Circle to integrate payment rails. So what was happening in 2013, I think that's when Jed left Ripple, but he had already, in my opinion, Jed was in South America hooking up them, and that's where the Nubank comes from. Nubank runs on the rails of Stellar and XRP. I just showed you all the evidence right here. If you read that article, you'll see connections with Ripple and Exapo and Circles right here, all these connections together. So that leads me to believe how you have to have Ripple and Stellar. They're both equally important, and they work together. And We're at 8 o'clock a.m. That's exactly 1 hour. And I've done all the articles. I've used all the articles up. There's none left. Let me check the latest comments, and I think that'll be it. And welcome back to Crypto Hulk. We just got back after YouTube pulled the plug on the show. I had to log back in real quick. I think that'll be it. Wait a second. We got Joshua Joseph. Thank you very much for the tax-free. Says, thanks for the great information. Yep, there you go. All right, that'll do it for this morning's program. I don't know if I'll have a PM. I don't have any news left, so I'll have to go look for news. But if I could find crypto news, then I'll make a PM show, probably be at about 5 o'clock PM Pacific time. Hopefully I'll see y'all then.